1st, 1819, Walt Whitman is born in West Hills, New York, to Walter Whitman and Louisa Van Velzen.
When he turned 12, he began to learn and fall in love with writing, taking large inspiration from Shakespeare, Dante, Homer, and the Bible.
He ended up getting a job as a printer in New York City, and everything was going great for him, until everything went awful for him when a fire destroyed the entire industry.
Due to this, he switched jobs in 1836 and became a teacher at the age of 17, which may be because of how smart he was, or maybe because of how bad the education system was back then.
Regardless, he continued to teach for years until eventually quitting in 1841, where he was a journalist and created a weekly newspaper, The Long Islander, as well as editing Brooklyn and New York papers, such as the Brooklyn Daily Eagle. In 1848, after witnessing a slave auction in New Orleans, he co-founded a free soil newspaper, the Brooklyn Freeman.
It should be worth noting that Whitman's views on African Americans was complicated to say the least. Sometimes he fought for African Americans, other times he viewed African Americans as inferior to white people.
Anyways, back to poetry. In 1855, Whitman published the first edition of The Leaves of Grass, which consisted of 12 poems and a preface. The next year, he released a second edition of the book, which contained 32 poems. These poems would often delve into physiological, moral, and political issues.
Whitman later became a freelance journalist and visited New York City hospitals due to the Civil War. He later moved to Washington, D.C. in 1862 to take care of his brother, who was wounded in the war.
He ended up staying in the city for 11 years so he could work at the local hospitals. And once again, everything was going great for him. Until, once again, everything went awful for him when he suffered a stroke in 1873 that left him partially paralyzed.
Despite this, he continued to write poems and published his final revision of The Leaves in Grass in 1891. And once again, everything was going great for him, until once again, everything went awful for him when he died in March 26, 1892. Walt Whitman's works still influence English literature today, such as helping inspire stories, poems, and AP literature assignments. And that's the life of Walt Whitman.
An old man bending, I come among new faces. Years looking backward, resuming in answer to children. Come tell us, old man, as from young men and maidens that love me, aroused and angry, I thought to beat thee all around and urge relentless war. But soon my fingers failed me, my face drooping, and I resigned myself to sit by the wounded and soothe them, or silently watch the dead. Years hence of these scenes, of these furious passions, these chances of unsurpassed heroes, was one side so brave, the other was equally brave. Now we witness again, paint the mightiest armies of earth, of those armies so rapid, so wondrous. What saw you tell us? That sees with you latest and deepest, the furious panics of hard-fought engagements, or sieges tremendous, what deepest remains. O maidens and young men I love and that love me, what you ask of my days, those the strangest and sudden of your tale you recall. Soldier alert I arrive after the long march covered with sweat and dust. In the nick of time I come, plunge into the fight, loudly shout in the rush of successful charge. Enter the captured works, yet lo, like a swift running river they fade. Pass and gone, they fade. I dwell not on the soldier's perils or the soldier's joys. Both I remember well, many of the hardships, few of the joys, yet I was content. But in silence, in dreams' projections, when the world of gain and appearance and mirth goes on, the soon, what is over forgotten, and waves wash the imprints off the sand. With hinged knees returning, I enter the doors. Often you appear, whoever you are, follow without noise and be of strong heart. Bearing the bandages, water and sponge, straight and swift to my wounded I go, where they lie on the ground after the battle brought in. Where their priceless blood reddens the grass to the ground, or to the rows of the hospital tent, or under the roofed hospital, to the long rows of cots up and down each side I return. To each and all, one after another, I draw near. Not one do I miss. An attendant follows along the tray, and carries a refuse pail, soon to be filled with clotted rags of blood, empty of the I, onward go, I stop, with hinged knees and steady hands to dress wounds. I am firm with each, the pains are sharp yet unavoidable. One turns to me his appalling eyes. Poor boy! I never knew you, yet I think I could not refuse this moment to die for you, for his sake. On I go. Open doors of time, open hospital doors! The crushed head I dress, poor crazed hands tear not the bandage away. The neck of the cavalryman with the bullet through and though I examine. Hard the breathing rattles, quite clays already, the eye, yet life struggles hard. Come, sweet death, be persuaded, O beautiful death! In mercy, come quickly! From the stump of the arm, amputated hand, I undo the clotted limb, remove the slough, wash off the matter and blood. Back on his pillow, the soldier bends with curved neck and soft falling head. His eyes are closed, his face is pale. He dares not look on the bloody stump, it has not yet been on. I dress a wound in the side, deep, but a day or two more, for see the frame all wasted and sinking, the yellow-blue countenance see. I dress the perforated shoulder, the foot with the bullet wound, cleanse one with the gnawing and putrid gangrene, so sickening, so offensive, while the attendant stands beside me, holding the tray and pail. I'm faithful, I do not give out. The fractured thigh, the knee, the wound in the abdomen, these and more I dress with impassive hand. Yet deep in my breast a fire, a burning flame. Thus in the silence and dreams projection, returning, resuming, I thread my way through the hospitals, the hurting wounded I pacify with soothing hand. I sit by the restless all the dark night. Some are so young, some suffer so much. I recall the experience sweet and sad. Many a soldier's loving arms about his neck have crossed and rested. Many a soldier's kiss tugs upon his wounds.
Now, the wound dresser literary devices.
One of the literary devices that the author uses in this poem is parenthetical information, which is when information is expressed that the listener isn't supposed to hear, such as when the old man is describing the things that he's seen, he describes the thing that he thinks in parentheses. And so it is showing us the things that he isn't telling people about his trauma from being a war doctor. An example of this is when he says, "These and more I dress with impassive hand," but in parentheses he expresses, "Yet deep in my breast a fire, a burning flame." This, again, is an example of how he's saying he's impassive with his job, but on the inside he feels very passionate about the things he is doing.
Long and rhythmic sentences. The speaker expresses memories in long, rhythmic sentences that mimic a train of thought. Each image is separated by a comma. The sentence below is an example. This gives an impression that the memories are flooding in as he is describing them.
The third device that the author uses is terms suggesting the level of experience that this man has and the comfort that he shows in his job, even though he may not be feeling it. He does not use words that describe the gore of being a war medic. His trauma stems not from his visually disturbing experiences, but from the emotional turmoil that he faced. An example of this is when he says, "The neck of the cavalry man with the bullet through and through I examine. Hard the sweating rattles, quite glazed already the eye, yet life struggles hard." The reason that this is an example of that is because a bullet wound in the neck would typically be very bloody and a very messy thing to deal with, but he is only describing what the wound is. And those are the literary devices that were used in this poem.
We hope you enjoyed our presentation on Walt Whitman and the poem he wrote. We would like to thank our sponsors, Miss Stewart,
Finn Eastridge. That's all.
Miss Stewart, and
Finn
Miss Stewart.
Eastridge. Thank you.
Finn Eastridge.